Hey, hey, hey,
Yeah. Hello. We're back.
Babylon Fantasy Football. Ryan, how are you doing this fine Labor Day morning?
I am doing great. Beautiful weather outside. Fun weekend. And in a few days. What is it? 3 days? Well, I just know this Thursday. We got NFL back. That's all I'm saying. So you can count down the days. You got tomorrow, you got Wednesday, and then that third day, you got football again that night. Are you excited for that, Charlie?
Oh, heck yeah. Super hyped. We got Friday night football too. So
Yo.
we're getting all the football in. And Ryan and I were supposed to technically get one of these episodes out earlier, but that's totally fine. Because I know a lot of you have already had your drafts. So we're going to get you some rankings here and then give you our starts of the week.
Yes, we are, which is exciting. It's good stuff,
Very
right?
exciting.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Friday game too. How about that? Chargers, Chiefs. You gotta like that. NFL's
Heck
back.
yeah.
College football occurred this past weekend too. Some good top ranked games. Not a good lot of QBs there though. If you're in dynasty leagues, some of them didn't perform super well over the weekend. That's more to talk about next year. This year though, we still got some rankings. If you have a later draft, which is still smart, honestly, because now you know all the injuries and all the signings, and Terry McLaurin is signed, and everybody else too. Achan is playing probably officially this upcoming Sunday. So all good stuff to delay a draft for those reasons. So we have some late rankings here for tight ends and wide receivers, and then like Charlie said, we'll get right into who we think we should start for the week. So Charlie, you want to highlight quickly on some of your top receivers here?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll just run through the top 20. I'll go super quick. If you have any questions or at the end, if you have something you want to debate, let's definitely debate that. But I'll quickly go through. I'll start at the top just because it's easiest there. Mark Chase, easiest one-on-one there.
Yep.
No one's actually repeated back-to-back wide receiver ones though since Antonio Brown, so it's been about 9, 10 years now. But I think he's the guy that can do it. CeeDee Lamb at my wide receiver too. I think you could put him or JJ at 2 or 3. I personally just think that CD is going to be a little bit better with Dallas's defense just being so bad this year. But again, you can flip either of those. JJ at my 3, hamstring injury, but I think he'll be fine. They were just resting him, didn't want to get him hurt in the training camp and preseason. Rookie quarterback, so a little bit of a risk, but I think he'll be just fine. All right, those are my top 3. Wide receiver 4, I think this is a different tier than those top 3 guys. I'm going to go with Nico Collins at my wide receiver 4. He was injured a lot last year, but before he got hurt, he was the wide receiver 1 overall. I think he has the opportunity to be the wide receiver 1 overall if everything goes great for him. I'm not saying he's going to be, but he just has a chance at it. Um, at my wide receiver 6, Malik Neighbors. He was the wide receiver 7 last year and had awful quarterbacks. Still averaged about 11 targets a game, which is more than anyone, including Jamar Chase. I think Russell Wilson will be the presumed starter, they said, but eventually it'll be Jackson Dart. I think those are better than what he's had the last few years, so I expect big numbers from Malik Neighbors this year, as long as he can stay healthy. Then going down, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're losing Ben Johnson. No long. They're the highest scoring offense last year. He's had 100 plus catches and 1,100 yards in the last 3 years. But I just like some of the other guys with more upside. He's the safe option if you really want someone safe. Amon-Ra's your guy, but I like some of these other guys that are going around him. After that, I got Brian Thomas Jr. What is that? My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Brian Thomas Jr. is my wide receiver 7. Welcome in Liam Cohen. He did really well with those Tampa Bay wide receivers last year. And Brian Thomas Jr. averaged 14.1 points per game last year, which ended up being the wide receiver 4. And I think with the rookie coming in, Travis Hunter, I was blanking on his name there for a second, he will take away from some of those targets. But I think that's going to help him, honestly, just because some of the attention's not going to be on it. Okay, AJ Brown. Monitor his injury, should be okay. Philly has fourth toughest schedule, but they'll have to throw more than they did last year because they were just running the ball with Saquon. Drake London there. After that, 100 catches and 9 touchdowns last year, 25 targets inside the red zone, which was the highest among all wide receivers. I think that he's going to take a step up this year, and I really like him in drafts. Puka Nacua is my next wide receiver. I had him a lot higher originally, but with that Stafford injury, it just scares me a little bit. I think he is a guy that could end up being a wide receiver one, two, if everything goes right. And Stafford and him stay healthy. That's keys. They both get hurt a lot. So he's a bit risky there. T. Higgins is my next wide receiver. I love the Cincinnati offense. Career year last year. They have a horrible defense again. Burrow was arguably an MVP candidate last year, so I think him and Jamar are must targets in your draft, especially if you can stack them. Next up, I got Marvin Harrison Jr. They say he's put on a lot of muscle. He was drafted really highly last year. I think he's going to turn it around. I'm not saying he'll be top three, five. I'm saying he'll probably be top 10, 12. I think he'll be really solid this year. After that, what number am I on here? So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm on 12. Mike Evans is 12.
I like that.
Um,
Yep.
will he hit 1,000 yards again? 11 years in a row. Lots of wide receiver injuries on this team, so I think the targets are going to be rolling in. They said Chris Godwin's out until at least week 5. Rookie Igbuka is there, which will take away some targets, but I think that Mike Evans will still be Baker's guy. I got JSN at 13. New quarterback in town. No DK, no Tyler Lockett. I think his numbers were gonna get even better. All right, I'm gonna try to go faster. I'm at 14. DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf at 14 here. I think Rodgers might have lost a step, obviously, since he left Green Bay, but I think he's gonna have a better year this year. And when he has a wide receiver one that he likes, he hyper targets them. So that's why I have him this high. I really like DK Metcalf this year. I have him in all of my leagues so far. I just love him that much. Yeah, DJ Moore is my wide receiver 15. I think Caleb and him are going to take a step up. They got a new head coach in Ben Johnson. If you believe in Caleb Johnson, you got to believe in DJ Moore. He's their wide receiver one. I got Tyreek Hill here at 16, which is probably a bit lower than a lot of other guys. It's a bit risky. They said he hurt his wrist last year. Tua was out for a good chunk of the year, but I mean, he could finish as wide receiver one if all things go right and he's back to his old self. And then I got Terry McLaurin at next. I think him being signed, he might have a slow start. But I think later on in the year, him and Jaden are going to be connecting, and their offensive line got better. He had 117 targets last year, so I think he's only going to get better. Debo will draw away some of the attention, and that'll give Terry more opportunities. And the run game is awful. Devontae Adams, another scary wide receiver. But he showed time and time again that no matter how old he gets, that he can still produce. Again, scary with Stafford being there, but I think he could turn into a better Cooper Kupp than he was the last few years. So good wide receiver too. Let's see, that was 18, so I got two left. I'm gonna go with Lad McConkey here. I'm a bit lower on him than a lot of other guys are. There's just a lot of not a lot of wide receivers here. They just added Keenan Allen, and I think he's going to take away a lot of the targets. I've been targeting Keenan on a lot of my late drafts, and I think that Harbaugh really wants to run the ball, and they went out and they got their running back Amari in Hampton this year, so I think that they're not going to be throwing it as much, and I think it'll be split between him and Keenan Allen. All right, and then at my wide receiver 20, I will go with Garrett Wilson. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I'm honestly not taking him in any of my drafts. Um, he's played with Justin Fields before, and they were really good in college, but that's a totally different game. And I think Fields has just been really bad for wide receivers in the past. We saw that with DJ Moore, and I mean a little bit last year with some of the Pittsburgh wide receivers. But yeah, I think that they can just double him because he's their only option. But yeah, that's where I have Garrett Wilson, and those are my top 20.
I
Maybe a
like
little
those.
longer than I thought.
I like those. Honestly, yeah, like you said, DK. I think DK could be a good pick. Obviously, if you haven't made your draft yet, and then Mike Evans as well. I like those as well. Obviously, the top, four are top, and they're the best for sure. I would say Cooper Cup maybe like a little sleeper in there too, and just throw a little. If him and Sam Darnold can get a good connection together, I could see him doing quite a bit if he stays healthy. But I like your rankings there, Chuck. So, you want me to go on to tight ends right here,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
know you're a little bit higher than just going off of my rankings with Tyreek Hill. How
Yep.
high would you have him compared to where I had him?
I would probably have Tyreek still like I would put him top 10, honestly.
Top 10 over Mike
Yeah.
Evans?
Um, yeah, I probably would. I just think Tyreek's could have some really big games, and I mean, all the drafts I did, Tyreek went above Mike Evans too. I think rightfully so. But I just think he could still have quite a few of those breakout games when Tua is healthy, and I believe in Tua this year being healthy, and I believe in Tyreek being healthy too. They're just going to have a high-powered offense, and I don't think Tyreek is done quite yet. So um, I'm maybe probably a little bit higher than a lot of people are on him. But we've just seen when health for Tua and him are good, then like he will go off, and he has before. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
could see it. He has a chance of being the wide receiver one. It's just he's
yeah,
got to take that risk on
it's a
the
risk.
injuries and his off the field issues now.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Same with McCaffrey too. He could definitely be an RB1 as he has been before, but that's a risk as well. So we'll see. But all right, tight ends wise, I'll just go through the top 10 here quick. Number one, I got Brock Bowers. Pretty
Easy.
easy number one there. Did super well. He's been drafted for most of the leagues at like the end of the first round, so that's good. And I mean, yes, they have Amari Cooper there now too. Geno Smith is a new QB, which is a better upgrade from last year. So look for him to still get a lot of the target share as well as just a lot of touchdown opportunities too. He only had 5 touchdowns last year, but I assume that'll grow with Geno Smith as their offense could maybe be a little bit more potent because G&T's on the team too, and they'll probably be reaching the red zone quite a bit. But Brock Bowers is easy number one. Number two could be a little bit of a flip, but I do have George Kittle. I just think at the beginning here, he has no, obviously, Brandon Ayuk. I know Jawan Jennings might be back. Purdy's still there. It's one of his favorite targets. I know last year they still had Debo. Debo's gone. Ricky Pearsall is still a little bit unproven, but I think Kittle will get quite a bit of target share right away. I know McCaffrey's healthy though too, so we'll see. But I do have Kittle at number two, and then he gets just a big play guy right there. George Kittle is so he has quite a few. Last year he had 21 receptions over 20 plus yards, and I could see that continuing. He's fast. He has fun out on the field, and he loves getting touchdowns. So that was my number two, and they could be flipped. Three, Trey McBride. So they could be, like I said, they could be flipped for sure. But I would say Kittle and number two, Trey McBride. He's obviously the number one tight end in Arizona, and him and Marvin Harrison will get quite a few of the target shares from Kyler Murray. They don't have a whole lot of other options there. McBride did really well last year, and you're going to see him continuing to do better. Then yeah, so outside those three are obviously like the top, like the tier one tight ends for sure, right there. And then the rest, number four, I probably would go Sam Laporta. You can still get him as a value tight end, maybe in the fourth round or something like that, or fifth round. In a lot of leagues, half PPR, a little bit tough with how many receivers and just weapons they have in Detroit as a whole, with JMO and with and Amon-Ra St. Brown there. Last year, Laporta had definitely a little bit of a down year compared to his first season, but I could still see him getting some confidence back, and who knows what's going to happen in their new offense. So I do have him at four. Hawkinson's a close five behind everybody, especially the first 3 weeks with Addison out and a lot of injuries on the Vikings wide receiver group. And if him and McCarthy can get that good connection together too, look out for him in future weeks. I know Adam Thielen's back too. So could be a little bit tough, but I would still say Hawkinson is above some of those older tight ends by now. So that is my number five. My number six, actually, I do really like David Njoku a lot. Keep him healthy. Last year when he had played in 11 games, he averaged 13.5 fantasy points per game, which was number four among tight ends. So if he's healthy, I would look for him to do really well. He's also another one of those is like he's big body tight end. He had 97 targets last year, caught 64 of them. But I still like him again over some of those older ones as long as he's healthy and as long as the burns are fine. I know Black was a QB there, so I think that they could actually do pretty well compared to some of the other QBs that they have in Cleveland. So that would be my number six, and I'll probably a little bit of a surprise for everybody there. I will say seven. I think Mark Andrews. He bounced back towards the end of last year, quite a bit. I know the beginning was tough for a lot of Mark Andrews owners, as Isaiah likely took a lot of stats, but I think Mark Andrews is going to be back to his peak form. And towards the end, he was getting quite a few touchdowns. He had the most touchdowns as a tight end last year with 11. So look for those touchdown opportunities to continue as well with him and Lamar. So that was seven. My number eight, I'm gonna have Tucker Kraft. The Green Bay tight end usage is going to be pretty high, especially with all the injuries to wide receivers. So it's either going to be him and Josh Jacobs, and uh, Green Bay is obviously really high just as a whole on Tucker Kraft. Last year he had over 700 yards, and he also had 11 touchdowns. Sorry, so that was a tie on tight end touchdowns. But yeah, I have Tucker Kraft at eight, and then my number nine. I'll have Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's always been a consistent tight end, no matter where he's at, no matter what his QB is. Usually is averaging around 8 and 9 points per game, so not like amazing, but he doesn't really end up with like less points than that. So I'd still say he's pretty consistent, and now he has Bo Nix as his QB instead of Trevor Lawrence or any of those other or Mac Jones. So he'll be there, but he will be fighting for catches for sure with Cortland Sutton and some of those other receivers in Denver. But look for him to maybe have a good, consistent year. And then my number 10 tight end, I do believe actually that this could be Kyle Pitts' year. So I think he will do pretty well as a tight end over in Atlanta. Obviously, they have Drake London, but who else do they have to throw to? I mean, they have Bijan too. I just think that Kyle Pitts will be consistent, and him and Penix will work out well together. So that's my number 10 tight end. Don't draft him super high, though, either. And also, just one more person to maybe keep your eye on a little bit will be Darren Waller. He's back. He's old, but he's back. So, and I think he could also do pretty decent with Miami, as Johnny Smith did really well with Miami last year with a lot of target share and tight ends. And we'll see if that same offense will be helpful, even though they have Tua back now too. So those are my tight ends. Quick,
All right. Very interesting. I know you're a big believer in the Dolphins offense. I didn't know I was going to hear that Darren Waller name. I s-
over Travis Kelsey.
yeah, you didn't even have Kelsey in your top 10, which was surprising.
Kelsey's old. I know I drafted him.
I was just going to ask. That was going to be my question. I'm like, why'd you take him in our draft then in like what was it, the fifth or the sixth round, something like
That
that?
was before he got engaged. No, I'm just kidding. We'll
Oh
see.
my gosh.
No, I'm playing. Travis Kelsey is, yeah, I would be just worried about him a little bit for sure. 35 now, and production rates are going to continue to decline probably. Who knows? He'll be obviously. There's a reason he's playing still this year, but I don't think he's going to be trying to get injured or do any of that stuff with a bright future ahead of him once he retires. So
Yeah, people are saying he lost weight and he's trying to get back into shape. And with Rashi Rice being out, I think he could be really good those first couple games.
yeah, he could be top 10. Could be top 10 for six. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, not a bad pick either. I just don't have him as high. Clearly,
That was just
Dallas.
one of my big thoughts right
Oh,
away when I heard your rankings, so I thought I'd point it out.
yeah, which is fair.
Um,
Fair.
One other thing I was hot take-ish was everyone's taking Trey McBride over Kittle, so I was surprised to hear that. But I mean, I could easily see any of those top three finishing as the tight end one. I don't think anyone else has a chance at being the tight end one outside of those top three.
Yeah,
So yeah, you could take your shot at Kittle. They have the easiest schedule in the league. But the fact that McBride only had 2 touchdowns last year, I just think that he's gonna be getting
yeah,
better.
fair. That's no, that's any of those top three could do super well. Yeah, like you said, Trey McBride will have more touchdown targets and opportunities as well. So you could do him or Kittle. I just think Kittle's the only guy kind of receiver wise and like tight end receiver wise in their offense until Ayuk is back. as we've seen in the past. So I just kind of why I like him, and he has the big play opportunities too. So
For sure. And not everyone should agree as fantasy analyzers. Everyone should have different opinions. So I like it. I like it.
yes, sir, Chuck. Yes, sir.
All right. Should we get into our starts of the week?
Let's do it. Starts
Let's
of the
do
week.
it. We
Yes.
start at the top of the normal fantasy position board. Let's go with quarterbacks first. Brian, do you want to start or you want me to start with quarterback start of the week?
I'll rip my QB. My QB, and we're just doing the Dolphins high offense right here. My QB of the week will be Tua, actually. So they're back. Tua is healthy. Also, some week one stats here for Tua as well is he threw for it was week one of the 2023 NFL season. He threw for 466 yards and 3 touchdowns in that first game. And then last year he had 338 yards and 1 touchdown. So he's well known to have good week ones. Also, they play the Colts too, whose pass defense has gotten, I think, a little bit worse from compared to last year. I know Kenny Moore is on that team and he likes to get a lot of pick sixes and everything, but they have Cam Bynum now and their other secondary thrower or their other secondary defender is not as great. And then Tyreek and Waddle. And then also now we're hearing H.N. is back too. I could just see this being another great week one from Tua. So he's my start of the week. Obviously, if you have a better QB like Allen or Lamar or something like that, for sure start them or Burrow or Hurts. But if you're in between some QBs like Tua or Herbert or some other guys, I would say Tua should be your guy for week one. So that's my QB start of the week. What do you have, Chuck?
I don't mind it, and that's good. You brought up a good point. Again, these starts of the week will not be the top guys that you're putting in your lineup every week. Like we're
Yeah,
not going to talk about the top. I think we said eight quarterbacks, like top 15 running backs, wide receivers, top
yeah,
eight tight ends. So obviously you start those guys every week. These are guys that you're on the fence with.
yeah. We're not doing chalk right here. We know that you guys should be starting Josh Allen and Lamar, and you guys know that yourself too. So,
Yeah, it'd be easy to pick those guys as your starts of the week.
right.
All right, so my quarterback start of the week, I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison, I love all the talk I'm hearing out of him out of camp, getting all shredded. And I think he's going to come out and have a great year too. And I think Kyler's going to benefit from that. And if you believe in Kyler bouncing back, this is a perfect opportunity to do that because he gets an easy defense in the New Orleans Saints. So that's it. Kyler Murray's got two great weapons, and I think their offense is going to be improved from last year. But yeah, that's it. My quarterback start of the week, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that Saints defense is not good. So I like that for sure. Kyler can probably run all over them and pass all over them as well. I like that.
They're tanking for Manning. Tanking for Manning.
Oh, it did not go super well. No, I was kidding. But, all
Alrighty.
right, Charlie.
Running back.
What do you got for running back? What do you
I
got?
did tell you two here, so you don't even know. I'm going with my guy, Austin Eckler. Oh,
Oh
I almost
wow.
went with Travion Henderson, but I mean, he's a rookie, so I think he'll be really good, but it might take a few weeks for that to kick in. I'm going Austin Eckler. It's the second year in his offense over at the Commanders. They just got rid of Brian Robinson Jr. They improved their offensive line. And I think he's going to get all the third down PPR work. So especially in a PPR league, I'd be starting Eckler. Um, and I think that they're going to split carries beyond that. I know a lot of people are super high on Bill Krosky, but
A
I
lot of
think that
people.
they're going to be going with the veteran here, especially in the early season.
Yeah.
So Austin Eckler, start of the week against the New York Giants, who actually were seventh worst against running backs last year. So although it looks like a bad matchup, it's actually not.
I like that. Eckler. That'd be something though. That would be something for sure. Um, his revival. He likes touchdowns. He likes catching the ball too and everything. So I hope he does well. And I've heard a lot of positivity out of Travion Henderson, especially in the New England camp. And this, honestly, New England as a whole this year, they could really be a surprise team for a lot of people as well as their offense because they actually have some wide receiver weapons now too. So I like
Totally
those.
agree.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. All right, Ryan, who is your RB start of the week?
My RB start of the week is Isaiah Pacheco. He's back. He is healthy. He's still a hard runner. He's a really hard runner. Um, so last year when he was starting the first two games, he obviously attempted about 20 attempts per game rushing wise. He had one touchdown in the beginning. He had 90 yards in their second game against Cincinnati. Then he was hurt, obviously, for a while, came back, didn't perform like really well, honestly, at all. Had no touchdowns, no receiving. Kareem Hunt had majority of everything there. But Isaiah Pacheco, I would say look for him to be back to being the main RB1 in Kansas City. And the thing with the like end zone carries is they both are like big body, hard runners. So it could really change off who gets those touchdown opportunities for week one against the Chargers on Friday night. But I would say look for Pacheco to get the opportunities at first. And then if he obviously doesn't do super well, then they might end up going to Kareem Hunt. But Chargers defense, too, last year, they were middle of the pack on rushing defense, allowing over about 117 yards per game. But I just think Isaiah Pacheco is due for one of those breakout ones, and they're going to try to get him back into the offense because they need him. So that is my running back part of the week. Look for him to get a few touchdowns too.
I don't mind it. Are you worried about the injury at all from last year? That's the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about.
Yes, I am. I definitely am worried about it a little bit, but I just still think he's going to get the carry opportunities, and just how I just feel like how strong he is and how like determined he is. He's still going to have a big first game. And Kansas City running backs too, as a whole, they love their big first games on week one. Like Kareem Hunt, obviously back in 2017, and then Pacheco, kind of last year, he did pretty well. So I would look for him to at least get over 10, hopefully 15 fantasy points. So
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
and
I
have an
don't
injury
mind it. Yeah.
or some, but I just think start him maybe over Eckler.
I don't know. That one's on the fence. What if I threw out some guys here? Would you rather like a guy we were talking
I
about
like.
before, Travion or Pacheco? Who would you rather start?
I would probably go Travion in that
Okay.
situation.
That one I feel like, yeah, it's 50-50.
What
What
about
about
Pacheco or Pollard? What would you do here?
that tough matchup against Denver?
Yeah,
I'd probably go. uh, I'm gonna say Pollard just because I know Spears is out. That's the only reason. I think
that's
those
fair.
first couple weeks he's gonna get all of the carries.
Oh, that's so fair. All right, all right.
Um,
What was the other
I
one you were going to?
just I was gonna say like Tyrone Tracy.
I'm going Pacheco over
Okay,
Tyrell.
he's got a easier matchup with the Commanders, but
I just think Devin Singletary and well, Scadaboo's hurt though too. I'm gonna go with Pacheco.
fair enough, fair
I
enough.
think that Kansas City offense is they're gonna try to have a revamp and score a lot here first week here. And Pacheco come out of the backfield too. I feel like Tyrone Tracy is not a big out of the backfield running back. He does definitely get a lot more carries though with Scadaboo and Singletary. Well, Singletary's playing, but Scadaboo hurt. So, but I'm going Pacheco. Running with Pacheco.
Okay,
I like the question.
Pacheco.
I do. I do.
I figured some of these guys might have that start sit decision, so might
Yep.
as well ask it. So,
No, I
all
think
right.
it's great. Yeah, you should be. So
We can do that with some of these wide receivers too. Do you want to do your wide receiver here first, Ryan? Tell me about your wide receiver start of the week.
let me tell you about mine. My wide receiver start of the week is DK Metcalf with Pittsburgh. And yes, their week one opponent. A lot of people are gonna be looking at that and like, why? Why is this? Why is this your guy? They play at the Jets, and Sauce Gardner will be on him the entire time. But Rodgers and DK have such a great connection that we've heard from the offseason. And I believe this is going to carry over into week one. They still have the running back committee up for debate, so we don't really know. They got three different guys. I know Jalen Warren's probably slotted there, but who knows if he's going to do great. Rodgers gets mad pretty easily at running backs if they're not doing amazing, or wide receivers if they're not doing amazing, and they don't have a whole lot of other options in Pittsburgh. And I think DK this first game is going to get a bunch of the target share, even if Sauce is guarding him. DK is still unbelievable athlete, and he is going to beat him a few times, and Rodgers is going to put it on him, and he's going to get a few touchdowns. So I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. I know he's not projected a lot. He really isn't projected a lot of points this week one because he's going up against Sauce, but I still think he's going to get it done. So
Yeah, I'm a big DK fan. I think he'll be just fine. Rodgers' revenge game too, so I
yeah,
think he'll be trying to run it up against him if possible.
yes,
I
that's
like
my
that one a lot. So I'll give you mine, and then we can do some start sit decisions on who we would rather start. I'm gonna go with Jerry Judy here. He plays Cincinnati, whose defense is really bad.
Mhm.
And I think that Cincinnati should be up big against them. So if the Browns are going to come back, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
I like
They've
it.
got Joe Flacco now. Last year, Jerry Judy was a completely different guy when Jameis Winston was throwing him the ball. Um, 6 out of the 7 weeks he played with Jameis, he was a top 24 wide receiver. And I think Flacco is very similar to Winston, where they like to air it out a lot. Going back to that, he had no top 24 finishes without Winston. So I think having a good quarterback in there is really big for him. So I expect him to be a top 24 guy this first week. So that's where I got Jerry Judy.
I like that. Jerry Judy's good. He has the. I mean, I feel like they're just going to be having a high scoring game as a whole. With Cincinnati's defense not being good, and that means that Judy has a lot of opportunities for touchdowns here, especially week one, and with also their running back situation not really figured out at all either. So, and Jerome Ford is not that good of an RB, and who knows about Judkins or Dylan
Yeah.
Sampson. Oh, I like Judy. That's a good. Um, that's a good first week one pick right there. Would you start though if the opportunity is there? I'm guessing you would start Judy over DK or what?
I really think DK's taking a step up this year. That's why I told you I have him in every league. So I think he's going to be top 10 this year. So I'm going to take DK, honestly.
Like that. I would too.
Who you would I think
So
Rodgers might still have a little bit of juice left, and if he does, DK's only going to benefit from that.
yeah, that's my thought, especially starting out of the gate too. Um,
I got one for you here. How about DJ Moore Monday night against the Vikes or DK Metcalf?
I was just about to ask this one too. But just personally, I like DK Metcalf's. I just think it's going to be better QB wise. I have a lot of faith in Rodgers this year and in DK too. Monday night, Caleb Williams after Caleb's last year. Still a little bit worried. I've heard rumors too that Rome is being a little bit more favored. And then they have Luther Burden too. They're going to have to try to get him integrated along with the other weapons. Minnesota's secondary is not amazing though, as we know as fans of the team. So that'd be a little bit worrisome. I just think that we'll come out strong though, and Chicago probably won't score much. I hope too, obviously, but that's just my gut feeling. What do you have between those two?
I'd probably go DK too. I think DJ Moore could have an okay game against us, but yeah, no, I think DK is definitely the better play there.
Yeah.
All right. I
Maybe one last.
realized we only had, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we don't have much time. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, we only have about 4 minutes here, so just
Okay.
want to get to our tight ends and then our defense and
Yep.
our special thing I won't spoil quite yet. Um, I'll start with my tight end start of the week here first. Again, I pivoted last minute, so Ryan, you don't even know this. I was originally going to go with Tucker Kraft, but after doing some more research, I think that game's going to be super high scoring. But Detroit was the hardest matchup against tight ends last year, so I pivoted.
Yep.
I'm going with Kyle Pitts. Lower tight end start of the week. Tampa Bay was the sixth best matchup against tight ends last year. And like you said earlier, it's him and Drake London, and that's it. So I think that he'll be in for a big game here.
I like it. For me, my tight end start of the week, and it might be Kyle Pitts here, by the way. Anyways, Dalton Schultz is my tight end start of the week. They play against the Rams. Rams were 30th last year against tight ends, fantasy production wise, with every tight end getting over at least 11 points per game there. And I mean, yes, they have Nico Collins, but they have two other rookies. Who knows how those two other rookies are going to perform right away for Houston's wide receiver core. So look for CJ Stroud maybe to have a good third year compared to his second year and start it off strong with a lot of red zone targets for Schultz and over the field targets too. So that's my tight end start of the week. Obviously, we know if you have other tight ends in those top 10, start them. But if not,
If
then yeah, go with one of these two. So that's our tight end quickly. Charlie, defense.
my defense start of the week, I have a defense in every league, but I'm not going with them at least this week because they are the number one defense overall. I really like the Broncos, but they're too easy of a matchup to pick. So instead of that, I pivoted and I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals again, similar to Kyler. They
Yep.
get to play that bad New Orleans team, and I think that they'll be at the end of the game throwing a lot, trying to score, and you might get some picks, maybe even a pick six. And last year they were the 10th best matchup, and that was when they had a better offense. So I think this they'll be one of the offenses we'll target for a defense this year.
I like that. I know, obviously, yeah, a lot of people Denver if you're trying to string defenses along every week. But you never know too with the Saints quarterback right now. So that's a good pick. The
All right.
shiny turd.
Yeah, Ryan's big shiny turd is also known as the kicker start of the week. Ryan, who's your kicker start of the week?
Mine is kind of solely based on preseason. Cam Little, he hit a 70-yard field goal. Honestly, a lot of kickers are just amazing right now, and they have crazy legs, and you never really like. You just need, it seems like 30 yards or even 25 yards for them to be in field goal range, and that holds true with Cam Little too. Um, I think also that they're gonna start out, or they're gonna definitely stall towards the end of the, like towards the red zone and the end zone and everything against the Panthers because it's Jaguars first week. So I think Cam Little could have definitely a few 50-plus-yard field goals this week. That's my thought, and that's my shiny turd. So, and I wish to, fantasy football, if you're listening, 60-yard field goal should be worth 6 points, 70-yard field goal should be worth 7 points instead of 5 points each. So, that's just my thought
Nice.
about the weekend. There we go.
Hell yeah. That's Babylon Fantasy Football starts of the week, week one.
Sure. Let's go,
Let's
Chuck.
go.
Excited.
All right, I'll catch you later, Ryan.
Yes, sir. See you, Charlie.